What's going on, guys? Dots here, and today I'm bringing you a guide on the fairy system in Black Desert Online. This system is extremely important for your account progression and provides a significant source of convenience for your character, such as automatically using potions, allowing you to carry more weight, resurrecting for free, and much more. You summon the fairy, and while she is active, she gives you all of these passive bonuses. Now, while thankfully the fairy that you get is account-wide, unfortunately, the fairy system in BDO is one of the worst systems in the game and essentially forces you to spend IRL money in order to avoid spending billions and billions of silver to get the ideal fairy, or just frankly being extremely lucky. But I'm going to show you guys today the basics of the system, how to navigate the system as cheaply as possible so that hopefully you'll get the best fairy that you can without spending a ton. Now, to kick this off, you need to start and actually get the questline to get your first fairy. You will need to be level 52 or higher and have completed the boss witch hunting quest. You'll then need to grab the quest Fairy Queen Thea from your Black Spirit under the suggestions tab. The quest will take you to the Common Sylph Temple east of Heidel, where you need to do a questline to unlock your fairy. Once you complete this questline, you'll get a sealed fairy wing, which is an RNG box that gives you a fairy. Once you open the box and right click the fairy to use it, you can summon it by clicking the fairy icon at the top left and then clicking summon. Now, if you end up getting a lower tier fairy at first and want to get a better one later on, you can get an item known as Lilas Petals as rare mob drops, bring them back to Fairy Queen Thea, and exchange them for another RNG fairy box requiring 2 petals per fairy box. If you end up pulling a better fairy out of this box and you want to use it, unsummon your current fairy, press release, and then from there, use the new fairy out of your inventory, and boom, you're good to go. Now, you need to do this because you can only actually have one fairy active at a time. Now, if you end up getting a high tier fairy and then you no longer need the Lilas Petals or the wings going forward, you can exchange them with Cillian for a variety of different items. Now, you heard me mention fairy tiers. Let's talk about those as well as levels and skills. Fairies have 4 tiers, and each tier can have a different amount of levels and skills. Each fairy has the skill Gift at a default, which gives you +1 luck, and then it learns another skill every 10 levels. So a tier 1 fairy is a Faint fairy, which can only max out at level 10, granting you 1 additional skill. Glimmering will be the name of tier 2, which can then have 20 levels and 2 additional skills. Brilliant will be tier 3 with 30 levels and 3 additional skills, and then the T4 fairy, which is your goal, is Radiant, which can get 40 levels and 4 additional skills. Now, each skill has a level of rank 1 to 5. Some I think I only max out at 4, but most of them go up to 5, which is completely random when you learn the skill. Higher tier fairies will have a better chance of gaining higher levels, and only the tier 4 fairies are able to gain level 4 or higher skills. Now, the skills that the fairy can learn are as follows: Tingling Breath for underwater breathing duration increased, Feathery Steps for weight penalty reduction, Fairy's Tear for instant resurrection without any death penalty, Inexhaustible Well for auto-consumption of purified water or star anise tea when you're in the desert, Miraculous Cheer for the auto-consumption of potions such as mana potions and health potions, and then Morning Star, which is your fairy will basically light up its surroundings so that if it's dark and you need to see, the fairy can light it and you don't need to use the item out of your inventory. Now, to increase your fairy's level, you're going to need to feed it unenhanced equipment, Sweet Honey Wine, which can be crafted or purchased on the MP, or Ornette's Honey Wine, which is a Pearl Shop item. So to do this, you just simply need to click the Growth tab in your fairy's information, click the items from your inventory that you want to feed to the fairy, and boom, you're good to go. Now, obviously, the goal is going to be to get a T4 fairy for the most skills as possible while getting a set of desired skills. For 99.9% of people, the skills that you're going to want to get are Miraculous Cheer 5, Feathery Steps 4 or 5, Fairy Tier 3 or 4, and a 4th skill of your choice. But what happens if you don't get these skills, especially Miraculous Cheer, since being able to automatically potion ties directly into combat prowess? Now, this is unfortunately where your credit card kicks in. Now, if you level up your fairy and don't get the skills you want, you'll need to de-level it and try again. To reset your fairy, you're going to need to click Rebirth and then click Reset Growth. You'll then need an item called Fairy's Queen's Might out of the Pearl Shop for 1,000 pearls to reset your fairy back to level 1. Then you're going to want to level up your fairy only to level 10 and stop when you get your first skill. The goal here is to get Miraculous Cheer 5 for as cheaply as possible, since it is by far the most important skill. So now, why do we reset the fairy and only get it to level 10 in the first place here when we're trying again? If you want to reroll a fairy's skill, it costs another currency, which is called Thea Orbs, which again can only be purchased on the Pearl Shop, and it costs 1 orb per skill your fairy knows to re-roll them. So if your fairy only knows one skill, it's only going to cost 1 orb to re-roll it. While if you have 4 skills known, if you want to relearn one of the skills, it will cost you 4 orbs per re-roll. So to save the most money and get the most attempts, it is best to try to get Cheer 5 when your fairy is at level 10 and only has that 1 additional skill. Once you have Cheer 5 obtained, you're going to want to level your fairy up to level 20 and then roll with 2 orbs to try to get a higher rank of Feathery Steps, which is the second most important skill, since being able to carry much more weight on your character is really important for just so many different things. Now, if you want, you can also try to reroll 3 orbs when you get to level 30 to try to get a rank of Fairies tier, but I wouldn't consider this nearly as high of a priority as the other 2 skills, and it's just a nice thing to have. So if you are on a budget, I don't even bother rerolling for Fairies tier, but I would say that Miraculous Cheer and Feathery Steps are the most important 2 to get, especially that Cheer 5. Then you could take your fairy to level 40 and see what the final skill that you get is, and then from there you should hopefully have a super good fairy without having to have spent too much money. But guys, hopefully this quick guide on fairies, as well as how to get the best fairy for as cheaply as possible, hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, I'd appreciate if you left a like on the video. If you do have any questions about this system, please feel free to leave a comment below and I will be willing to help you guys out. And of course, for more BDO beginner guides, please hit that sub button as well as hit the bell to keep those notifications on. So thank you all so much for stopping by today. I do very much appreciate it. As always, I'm Dots Gaming, and I'll see you all in the next video.